Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
First down at 10 at their own 10-yard line. Tevin Coleman with some running room. Tevin Coleman down the sideline. Coleman, one man to beat. Tevin Coleman's going to go 90 yards, and Indiana takes the lead. Randall L. scrambles, started off the pitch, keeps it himself down the sidelines. He could go. Antoine Randall L. touchdown. Rourke going to the single coverage, end zone. Touchdown! He hits Cooper again.
So now Indiana has the football at their own 20-yard line, and they've got 2 minutes, so a minute actually in 51 seconds, and no timeouts. Fernando awaits it again, gets the snap, pressure comes, throws the football. He's got Omar Cooper for a first down at the 35-yard line. Fernando awaits the snap, gets it. Fires it. Caught ball. Nice grab. E.J. Williams gets out of bounds at the 48-yard line. There's Kalen Black back there with him. Back he goes. Throws it down the field. And it is caught. Nowakowski, the tight end, with a grab inside the 25. The snap back. Fernando throws it out here to Charlie Baker, who makes an incredible catch. Now, was he out of bounds or not? It's a catch inside the 10-yard line. What a grab by Becker. 41 seconds to go. E.J. and Omar both far side. Becker near side. Mendoza in the backfield. Back to throw. Pressure comes again. Throws it to the end zone. And a catch is made. Is it a touchdown? Touchdown! Unbelievable! Omar Cooper with a grab. And he put his foot down. It's a score for Indiana.
Awesome. But it was the most improbable victory I've ever been a part of. And there couldn't have been a better place to make it happen.
Holy shit. That was awesome. Welcome to the Hoosier Happy Hour podcast, episode 280. Talk about game number 10, another W in the books, nice and easy and happy landing. Walking away with a 27-24 win. Here with the boys, Brando and Seth. What's up, guys?
What is happening in a very happy recap? If you haven't posted your watch stats to the Twitter handle, you should. I think we all lost some years off our life, and I know I probably got about a dozen more gray hairs. But that was, to be hyperbolic, the greatest regular season game I've ever watched. I cannot think of a regular season game in any sport in my lifetime that tops that.
I am trying to see if I can think of anything, and there's only one that comes to mind that would even maybe rival it.
It beats the watch shot. It beats the watch shot.
Yeah, there's the watch shot. I didn't even think of that. I was thinking Colts for some reason. I was thinking the Colts, Patriots, the 4th and 2, where the Patriots missed it on the 4th, the big hit to keep them short on 4th and 2. That was the only thing that came to mind. But no, this is well beyond that.
Big Ben to Antonio Brown, game-winning touchdown on Christmas Day to beat the Ravens is up there. But in my mind, none of these had the magnitude that 10-0 did. The ramifications of what that, like, if the Steelers lost that game against the Ravens, fine, season's not over. If Kentucky pulls out that game against IU in December, largely doesn't matter. That win this time of the year with everything on the line makes it, for me, the greatest regular season game I've ever watched. Hands down.
Seth might have just watched his greatest regular season game of all time.
Every Bears game is the greatest regular season game of all time. All right, 3 things. First of all, did you call it Happy Landing? Is
Probably.
that what I heard?
Probably.
We did.
Happy Valley. Sorry. Happy Landing is it's a childhood destination at
Oh boy.
at Lake Quarry Lake, the place we used to or still have a family vacation spot up in Michigan.
And it sounds like you're recording in a shower room at a locker room, or a shower of a
Pretty
locker
much. Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. No, just normal recording spot, but for some reason the mic is on the fritz. So apologies for the audio difficulties.
And then, yeah, you guys ruined it already. That was going to be my sack. So we already have the watch shot in our basement on our wall. I resisted the Penix reach because it didn't really end up meaning anything other than just being a really cool moment. Do I need to get the tap?
You do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Upstairs has already said that they're doing it. So the upstairs bar in Bloomington, for those who don't know what that is, but yeah, I mean, this is going to be shown. I don't know. I mean, this is do they have ESPN Classic games anymore? I know Big Ten Network shows classic games. This will be shown for years, for decades. Our kids will see this 25 years from now.
Absolutely. Did your kids watch it with you? Okay,
my 6-month-old was an absolute champ and took a 2.5-hour nap. She doesn't nap any more than like 40 minutes. She took a 2.5-hour nap, which was incredible because that means me and my wife didn't have to take care of a 6-month-old during the game.
She knew what was at stake.
And Cam, I mean, we weren't A+ parents there, but we just stuck an iPad in his face for the entire fourth quarter. It was like, here's headphones, here's an iPad. I don't care what you watch. Go on the couch. But no, it was great. We had friends over. Shots were flowing, drinks were flowing, and we went up to King Jug Brewery in Fishers afterwards to celebrate. I fell to my knees in my living room. Like I said, I mean, I'll definitely remember who was over, what I was drinking, what I was doing. Seth just ruined a part of his sack, so I'll ruin some of my final thoughts. And that was a core memory. There's no part of what happened yesterday I will not forget.
Oh, yeah. So I will always remember being in a French Lick hotel room watching this game. I got a text. I was just going to pull that up. A text from your wife in our little group chat. You guys are never allowed to leave again during the IU season. Like, that was the first game.
We were blaming you. I don't know if your ears were ringing. We were blaming you guys the entire time.
Oh, I'm sure. And that's also
you guys were selfish and left. So I mean, that's your fault. But it wasn't.
The unfortunate part of this event that takes place down there in the middle of nowhere is you have to book it out like legit in like 2 weeks for like the year following. And if you don't, you're not gonna be able to go. And what it is just a little Polar Express ride. It's pretty cool actually on a big train for the kids. And just bad timing for that game and where it's at. So for once in my life, or at least recently, a bye week isn't on the schedule for that particular event. But yeah, no more of that. All right, let's dive into it. Seth, where were you? Were you in the basement? Nice.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get into it. As I said, super easy game. IU goes to Happy Valley and wins 27-24, improves to 10-0 for the second straight year, up to number 2. Stays at number 2 in the coaches poll, staying at number 2 in the AP poll. I did something to the stats of the game section in our outline where we usually, at least every game that we've kind of broken it out, we've had large margins in certain areas of stats, whether it be sacks, TFLs, rushing yards, penalties, time of possession, any of that stuff. This was like staring into a mirror, like looking at team stats, looking at passing statistics, looking at rushing, like any of that stuff was almost identical. So if you guys have anything else after this, you can add it in. But we did keep the Heis-Mendoza train rolling on. Granted, his stats not on paper as great as they would normally be. 19 to 30, 218 yards and a touchdown through the air. We don't talk about the bad things that happen. 6 carries, 20 yards, a net 20 yards. That's with the sacks, and 1 touchdown on the ground. I did include his game-winning drive, and this is how it went. For those that didn't watch, obviously. Sack, 22 yards to Cooper. Spike, 12 yards to Williams. Incomplete pass. 29 to Nowakowski. 17 to Becker, which had catch of the year all over it. And then 3 plays later, after 2 incomplete passes at the 7-yard line, he gets obliterated as he lets go of the ball to the back of the end zone, and Cooper makes the catch. What are we calling it? We're calling it the tap. That's what we're calling it, right? No,
it's got to be.
You're doing straight. You said tap earlier. I didn't know if that was a thing. I haven't been on enough social media here recently.
Honestly, so
go ahead.
Everyone at my house erupted. I absolutely threw cold water on it because when it happened live, I thought it was what happened with EJ Williams. I thought his toe got down, but then his foot landed out of bounds. I thought he was going to get EJ Williams because, like, everyone, like, beers in the air, everyone's jumping and hugging each other. And I go, no, I don't think that's a touchdown. He didn't get his whole foot in. Like, I was like, this happened earlier. No, he didn't get his whole foot in. The toe doesn't just count. Like, I was raining on everyone's parade because, again, I thought what happened to EJ Williams was going to happen to Omar, which was not the case. So I still don't think I understand that rule. I don't really care enough to look into it, but sometimes a toe tap counts. Sometimes a toe tap doesn't count. But it counted this time, which is all that matters.
So I don't know how much attention you were paying to the commentators at that time. I did not hear Gus Johnson's. Yeah, I was going to say I didn't hear Gus Johnson's call until a little bit later that night, but I'm glad that I didn't hear it live because God, it was awful. But Joel Klatt talked about that. He said as you can see, he doesn't have to get the full foot in. And then when they really slow it down as he's talking about it, he ends up getting the full foot in.
He does
anyway.
Yeah.
But that, because of the way he turns his body as he's being pushed out of bounds, it wouldn't have mattered. It was just the physics of that, to where his right foot didn't touch before his left foot, if I remember right.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I don't understand it. Like, he's very easily, I mean, any other time, 99 times out of 100, probably that right foot touches before that left foot does. It was beautiful.
And can we just talk about how high he was in the air too? It was the body control, the elevation, the foot control. It was everything, all the catching of the ball contested. It was all of those things put together just for a magical moment.
Unbelievable. Can I throw out a I guess a devil's advocate view? Do you think he was throwing the ball away?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. What do you think, Seth?
It was a heave, but it wasn't a throwaway.
Okay.
Just, like,
all right.
See, I disagree. I think he threw it the only place his guy could get it. I think it was just an A+ throw. I think
if you go and watch it, perfect spiral.
Yeah.
Perfect spiral. Staring right there. It's not like he was like just kind of threw it away deep into the back of the end zone. It was beautiful. Beautiful. I agree. I just wanted to ask the question.
Yep.
We do have, do you guys have anything stat wise that stood out to you? I couldn't find anything on paper, at least. They played, if they play like that the rest of the season, I know we joked about it. They play like that the rest of the season, they are going to go to a bowl. They'll finish 6-6, but nothing stood out, right? I mean, that was such a weird game. I mean, just a purely dominated first half, and then beginning of the second half started great with an interception and then a field goal, and then all hell broke loose after that. So if you guys don't have anything, I've got one other stat, and that is in the LOL Florida State stat section. Didn't dive into it too deep. Saw who they lost to. That was Clemson, and they might have saved Dabo's job. So, LOL Florida State. Moving on. Headlines. These should pick themselves at this point. Brandon, go ahead.
So I have 3. not so happy, or in Bragg's case, happy landing.
Landing. Yeah, God forbid I make a mistake.
Do you believe in miracles?
Okay.
And I can't believe what I just saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seth.
Yeah, I had happy ending and happy valley.
Nice. Well, I had Heis-Mendoza done. Heis-Mendoza period done. Period. Like
Yes.
that was. I mean, Gus Johnson said it himself. If you haven't heard the call, the initial call is he gets so excited that he literally either the microphones don't pick up the pitch of his voice, or his voice leaves his body for a few seconds. Like
he sounded like
he has to stop. Yeah, unbelievable. And then he just says it. He's like, that's it. It's over. Wrap it up. Heisman's his. Give it to him. The other one is.
I don't agree with that. I do think
this,
the Heisman will be determined the first weekend of December. SEC championship, Big Ten championship. I think whatever quarterback puts on the best performance, whether that's Ty Simpson, Julian Sayin, or Mendoza. So I don't agree that the Heisman's wrapped up. But again, I think I sent it in our group chat. I sent it in a million group chats. Nando is the best quarterback. I think that now that doesn't always mean he's going to win the Heisman, right? But I think, again, he is the best quarterback. IU has the best coach. IU has the best defense. That showed last night that this team can win a national championship.
Yeah, that brings me to my other one, which is this is our year. But yeah, I mean, I can't believe I'm seeing what I'm seeing. But for some, he's actually second right now in Heisman Trophy live odds behind Julian Sayin at plus 180, Fernando at plus 185. So it may just come down to Lucas Oil Stadium on the 6th of December. Like, that's it. Seth, I texted in the group chat before that drive happened, said, this is it. This is the Heisman drive right here.
Yep.
And he did it. He did it. Anything else we want to add there? I was going to take out the whole marketplace in general. I mean, there's a big obvious for stock up on offense. I don't know what you could go a couple different ways on defense. You guys have some stock, so we'll get into it. But let's dive in. What do you guys want to do? I mean, there's one on offense we could just talk about. Who you got stock up?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's Omar, right? With Surratt being out. So again, we're talking Nando takes the cake, but I mean, his stock, he was already second in Heisman, right? For me, Omar has had a quiet game the last few games. Well, no, I guess last week he was incredible. But again, that catch will be in basements across the Midwest. It will be in bars. It will be replayed. It is the greatest catch in Indiana football history. So for me, Omar is my stock up.
Seth, do you want to say it together?
You want to do Chuck Becker, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you've been edging that way all. Yeah. Yeah. I'll let you have him. I thought Ajani at left guard filling in as a freshman from Indy. I thought he was okay. But he's a guy who now has experience. He got better as the game went on. They really tried to blitz him aggressively a few times, trying to exploit his inexperience. And he held up quite a bit. They were able to get some exposure. They only ran for 108 yards. So it's hard to be like, when we're talking about usually it's around 300 and you're like, oh, let's highlight the offensive lineman. But I also thought Riley Nowakowski had a really nice game, had some big catches down the stretch. So that was the one I ended up going with. Was he really came to play? He had the big catch on the drive, and he had a couple other ones. Ended up, I think, over 50 yards total catch or total receiving yards. So in a game where didn't throw for a bunch, didn't run for a bunch, all of a sudden Riley Nowakowski coming up with 51 yards on those three catches, really impactful.
Yeah, man. Charlie Becker talking about stepping up with no Surratt. 7 catches, 118 yards. What was it? Second or third play of the game? No, it wasn't play of the game. It was the second drive of the game. With the big 53-yard catch. he had that massive catch that, I mean, it probably K'Wan Black scores on the next play, I think, but he makes a great out, and it's a perfect ball from Nando. He almost fights the defender off. He thinks he gets in, but that was a good catch. And then obviously the catch on the drive where he comes down with 1 foot in on the 17-yarder, I think it was. And then he was just solid, man. And he's going to be such a good piece next year. Really, the rest of the season, he's going to be so super important. I think you'll see 80 out there a lot. But, man, going into next year, if Cooper is to leave, he's going to be – we may not need a number one. Like, he's that good. So, defense, again, you could take your pick there. A lot of people will say the defense didn't play well. I thought they played pretty good outside of one big run. What do you guys want to say there? Stock up on defense.
Again, Aiden Fisher locked in his All-American season. 2 sacks, 2 turnovers forced. He was just everywhere. He was willing himself. I don't know what you guys thought. He didn't look 100% to me. And it was just an absolute gutty All-American captain performance out of Aiden Fisher. And I don't know if you guys saw this. Aiden went up and spoke to Nando before the drive.
I saw that.
Did you see what he said? He goes, "You do this every day in practice." He goes, "You do this every day in practice. Go get us a touchdown."
I love that.
Seth? That's what captains do. That's leadership. That's what captains do.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. I had 2 names written down. So my honorable mention was Dominique Ratcliffe. I thought he flashed a couple times, had a nice TFL. But mine was Elijah Hardy. He had 12 tackles, 7 solos, had a sack, was really all over the place. He had one drive.
He had the pressure to get IU the ball back.
I was going to say, he had the one drive where he single-handed, well, I don't say single-handedly, but he was the guy who was the difference maker, the playmaker who ultimately forced that. I thought he was all over the place. Had a couple plays where he was taken advantage of, but he was going to run at directly. But overall, he held up and played really well in a tough environment.
Yeah, those both the starting linebackers. Isaiah Jones, I guess you consider a starting linebacker at this point too. But Hardy and Fisher were excellent. I'll go with Stephen Daly. I thought he looked pretty good. I thought he looked real explosive off the edge. There was that one play where, honestly, it literally like 1,000th of a second earlier, he's just going to take the pitch and run it into the end zone, the opposite direction, where he just obliterates Nick Singleton in the backfield. There were 2 plays like that. He had 2.5 tackles for loss on the game, but there's another play too where they just didn't block him, and he explodes down the line to go get. I think it was Allen on that one, but they ran away from him, and he still exploded back there for a big TFL. I think he looks really good for.
I think that was the play that Gus kept calling him Hosea Wheeler too, and I was like, nope, that's Daly. That's Daly.
Yes. And then Klatt kept going with it. They kept showing him. It's clearly number 8, and Klatt, what's his name? Joe Klatt was like, he's like, yeah, the Western Kentucky transfer, and I was like,
nope.
No, that's not him.
Well, I was also just wrong. Aiden didn't have a single sack, but I felt like he was living in the Penn State back.
Listen, at this point, I was going to let you go. I was staring at the stat sheet. It's so hard to be critical and be upset with anything after this game. Do you guys want to do stock downs? I don't have a stock down. Seth said he's got one on each side of the ball, so you can take it over. Go ahead.
I'll just say that the internet palaver on Saturday, there was a lot of Shanahan kind of disagreements. They thought that was unimaginative. It was not really putting players in a great position to succeed. But then, it's one of those things where you have the drive and all of a sudden all those things are kind of washed away pretty quickly.
For me, Seth, it was the 2 red zone drives that stalled that resulted in field goals. Not a single route tree was in the end zone for either one.
Right.
Like there, the one in the second half that was so frustrating is every single person run a crosser.
Yeah.
Like you got to put one guy in the it could be EJ, it could be Becker, right? You have to put one person in the red zone. And there was a lot of third and short runs. And again, IU was okay on third down. I think they were 5 of 12, but like so many times it felt like I think unimaginative is a great word. Do a play action, do a rollout. There were just so many third down runs. And again, they worked sometimes. So mine wasn't necessarily like Shanahan had a bad it was more situational play calling that was frustrating for me. And that's nitpicking. That's 100% nitpicking. But yeah, the situational play calling for me is the issue I had with Shanahan.
No, I think you're right. And then aside from that, I think the other thing that I heard some rumblings about is there was a couple plays on Sharp where he got beat, and then there was some maybe lack of effort from tackling perspective. So it's just one of those things where it's always easy to point to the guy who's in a trail technique and he's running after the guy who's making a big play. But I know that those were the two things that at least, somebody who was, on the internet for about 4 hours yesterday seemed to be most of the negative talk was centered around those two guys. But the other thing is Jim Knowles obviously was defensive coordinator the year last year. So, you would expect, Shanahan, that you'd expect it to be one of the toughest matchups as a coordinator versus coordinator concept there. And they were ready to play. So it was, that's it.
A thing to add on the Sharp thing. It was funny. And everybody knows I love Jamari Sharp. I think he's a really good player and he's going to develop and continue to get better. If you go watch the play where his helmet ends up forcing the fumble, watch his initial attempt at tackling. There's no arms. There's nothing. It's just kind of putting his helmet down to try to make a tackle. He ends up somehow making the play and forcing. I mean, I think he gets credit for the forced fumble on that. So, I mean, credit to him, and he stayed with it. He would have made the tackle. He did end up grabbing Katron's ankle, and he was going to bring him down either way. But initially not great.
While we're talking on coordinators and corners, I think this podcast knows, and the listeners know that you and I hate zone. They cooked our man coverage pretty good. That Pena guy was roasting anyone who was man on man covering him. So it was because the people that I watched the game with, I hadn't watched an IU game with all year. And I was just like, please God, just run cover 2 one time. Like they are absolutely obliterating us in man, which nobody knew any, but I felt like all year we were like, get out of the zone. And zone was actually our best coverage yesterday. So I just wanted to bring that up, that maybe Bryant Haynes, he definitely didn't listen to us. But I'm gonna think that he listened to us, and maybe he was right with calling zone more than we would like.
It was our man defense was very confused with their Mac style offensive play calls that they were breaking out with their weird like half huddles, 2 yards off the ball, and then sprint up and start moving everybody around. Like that's not Big Ten football. Like good for them, right, for doing it because it worked. It really worked in the second half. But we couldn't.
When they put that guard, when they put that 6 lineman in motion, that is scary. That dude, was he 73? I think
71. I think 71.
71. Yeah, he was just obliterating Hardy bad. Like Seth, you nailed it. They were going right at Hardy, and they would get that pulling extra lineman, and Hardy isn't the biggest linebacker.
No, but there's 120 pound weight difference between.
Yeah, that for me, I was like, how is that legal? That is a borderline unstoppable.
Dude, that was it's scary to look at that, and I mean, honest, there's a play towards the goal line. I want to say they scored on a longer kind of like pass play. I think it was to take the lead, but the one
20-yard and Singleton swing route.
Yeah, the one they scored before that, they brought that in. They ran that play, and that was Kamara standing in the end zone waiting to make the play, and he's the one that got beasted on that. I mean, you're running downfield at 330 pounds. you got no shot standing stationary, no matter how good of a defensive end or lineman that you really are. So, anything else you guys want to add here? I know that Brandon and I didn't really want to do stock down, but we spent a decent amount of time there.
It wasn't. Neither one of mine were really stock down, but I just had to comment on the coordinators real quick.
Yeah. Let's take a second. We'll do a quick promo. We'll do our little thing that we do, and then we'll revisit predictions, I guess, and then we'll do some randos and a sack, and then we'll get out of here and lock it up. But we'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by your go-to expert in the Indiana real estate market. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in a home right here in the heart of the Hoosier country, Garrett Lawton with True Blood Real Estate is the agent that you need. He's not just a real estate agent, he's a Hoosier fan just like you. And Garrett knows Indiana inside and out, from Bloomington to Indianapolis and everywhere in between. Plus, his personalized service makes the buying and selling process smooth and stress-free. So if you're ready to make a move, give Garrett a call at 317-410-8851 or visit his website at lawton-realty.com. And we're back. All right. We weren't great on the predictions.
No.
Okay. For the record, mine would have been 34-17. So I wasn't anywhere. I was still off, but I think you put me down at 52-17 or something.
We don't need to read. We don't need to read everybody's off. We'll just say Brandon wins. He was the closest with just a 17-point difference. Meanwhile, we had 35 and 28 respectively as our differences. So let's get into the randos, get into some sack if we got any sack left, and then we'll get out of here. What do you got?
No. So again, I'm just going to have to keep reminding you, no randos, only final statements for recap pods.
You said rando earlier. You said you had a job. You got rid of one of your sacks. I'll get rid of one of my randos. All right.
Get in my sack. All right. Washington and Iowa eliminated themselves from the playoffs, most likely. They kept talking in the games I was watching that USC and Michigan apparently are now fringe playoff teams. When they're released on Tuesday, they'll likely be in the low teens, probably 14, 15, somewhere in that range. Does the Big Ten get a fourth bid?
Yes, they do.
Ugh.
I'm going to tell you what I read before we did this podcast, and it's disgusting. There is a good chance, if it shakes out the way that it's shaking out, oh, God, it's hard to say, that the SEC may get 6 teams into a 12-team playoff. Currently, they have number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 10, and number 11.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, is Oklahoma better than Michigan?
It's so bad.
Dropped the ball on Friday,
Texas
big
better
time.
than Michigan.
With Virginia and Louisville losing.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to assume Miami will be the lone representation from the ACC.
They seem to be back in the favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, because Virginia lost, right?
Yeah.
In Louisville.
Virginia lost. Well, Georgia Tech is ranked ahead of them in the AP poll. It's going to come down to Charlotte for the ACC. They're going to get one bid, and it's going to come down to that game. I mean, honestly, Pitt could just take care of Miami at the last game of the season, and
we're all rooting for that.
Oh yeah. I'm rooting for Pitt next week or whenever they play Notre Dame, whenever that is. I'll take Pitt in that one too. All right. Is that enough of that? You're done with your sacks? You've emptied it?
I had 2, and that we wasted 1 earlier, and that's it. Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, we'll move on. Yeah. We'll move on. Most people just have 2 in the sack too, by the way. Just letting you know. Brandon, what are your final statements? And what are your final statements?
I saw very few. I saw a vocal minority really downplaying this. Penn State is a tough place to play. It seemed really loud there. Penn State still has a top 10 talented roster.
Yeah.
Do not let anyone belittle. Going undefeated is incredibly difficult. The national champion last year lost 2 regular season games. Regardless of your coworkers, your friends online, do not let anyone take anything away from that game. Again, we talked about it with the Iowa game. We talked about it with Oregon. This was another battle-tested game. Again, would I have liked to be that battle-tested? No. But now, hindsight being 2020, there is so much valuable experience that you can take from a win like this. So much confidence can be gleaned that you will always have a chance to win. And again, you cannot manufacture that in practice. It can only be done on the field. And those were moments and games that are necessary for a championship run.
Yeah, and I sent that, I think, shortly after I know that Seth was sending some of the reactions from Twitter. And I said, I mean, God forbid, right? 4- and 5-star talent on defense with one of the best defensive coordinators in the country, if not the best defensive coordinator in the country, plays good football for once, right? And that place was loud. But the first thing I said, and this kind of is going to switch the topic a little bit. Guys, we freaking travel now. Like, we have fans at every game. When they first show that stadium, if anybody wants to go back and rewatch that game, the best view is when they start the game or getting ready to start the coverage of the game, and they do the little drone fly into the stadium or whatever they're doing. I've never seen so much opposing color in that stadium. Now, granted, I will never watch an Ohio State game. Maybe it looks like that for Ohio State. But that place was littered with red everywhere, except for that disgusting student section. But it's loud still. No matter what was going on, that place was rocking. But yeah, that was a heck of a win. I mean, people are already starting to downplay a bunch of stuff everywhere again. My wife was actually on the way home today. She was reading something where somebody from the SEC said if IU had an SEC schedule, blah, 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 blah. But she read all of the comments, and every single person defended IU. Every single person. I'm a Tennessee fan. The SEC sucks, blah, 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 all this stuff. So you're going to get it. Just ignore it. Move on. Seth, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to build off exactly what Brandon said. Is Penn State was never going to be an easy win, so enjoy it. Use it as a reminder why no opponent is easy, and drop an absolute hammer on an improving but undermanned Wisconsin team. We're going to talk a lot more about this next week, but this is a completely different team than what they put out there. And the joke is going to be that they won with 13 points. The punter had the most passing yards and all this stuff.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
But they inserted 2 true freshmen, Cooper Catalano and Mason Posa, into the defensive starting lineup 2 and 3 weeks ago, and they have had a completely different team. So let's use the lessons learned Saturday to not make any similar mistakes next Saturday and just beat the absolute hell out of Wisconsin. We know they can't score more than 17 points. So all you got to do is put up a 20 spot and you should be able to coast. But you can't think that way. So this is one of those things where this was a tough win, and it's a credit in the chamber towards building that toughness for a championship caliber team.
Quick question, because I'm assuming you guys listened to Sig after the game. Emotional, or just worn out? Because to me, I thought he was emotional.
It was the most emotion I've ever seen from him.
Did you listen to it, Seth?
Yeah, I think he knew exactly what it meant. I think he knew that they'd only won, one time ever in Happy Valley.
Never. That was the first time.
Oh, never. Yeah. So I think he knew what was at stake. I think he knew what it meant for them as a program. And then I think he knew that this was I don't want to say the last remaining obstacle. I hate to talk in those terms, but that he knew that this was going to be a lot tougher than a lot of other people thought it might have been.
One more thing, because I don't know why I haven't been as focused as I am now throughout this pod, but I'd like to hear what Brandon's, because I don't think you'd feel the same way, Seth. You were probably thinking jubilation, but Brandon, this was the first time in a very long time I felt like this. I was legitimately sick to my stomach. I thought we were going to lose, and in the fashion we were going to lose. Now, granted, I had not been drinking. I'd had one beer during the game, at being at a family-friendly hotel. But I was legit going to get sick.
So for me, I also thought we were going to lose. Actually, that's not true. I made a sizable bet for IU to cover. And then as soon as Nick Singleton scored, I doubled down and took IU at plus 120 to break even. So I won $2 because I bet IU. So actually, I didn't think we were going to lose. But those thoughts obviously crept into my mind. And I thought, okay, if we lose, I want everyone out of my house immediately. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, I was just like, I don't want to sit around and talk about the game. I don't want people just lingering around. If IU loses this game, I want everyone gone. And I'm probably going to be a dick about it. So I wouldn't say I was sick to my stomach, but I was in a real negative place mentally. Had that scenario played out differently. Which it did not. I was very happy. People stayed around and we drank more, and it was a very, very good time. Like I said, core memory unlocked. But yeah, I didn't have that sick feeling, but I had this is ruining my day, weekend, and I don't want to talk or be around people. So
maybe it comes from what we had next on the docket of I had to go to the Polar Express train pretty much as soon as the game ended. And so here's a direct quote from my wife that you guys know very well. Boys, we're going to have a good night now. It's exactly what she said. And the smile on her face when we won that game was amazing. Seth's gone. I didn't see the chat, but he typed something in the chat. But peace out, Seth. All right, let's wrap it up. I mean, he's leaving at the right time, but I don't think it's like really hit yet, but dude, unbelievable. We'll have a little special treat for you guys at the beginning of the pod, something pretty similar to the Oregon deal that we did after that game. So yeah, until then, we'll talk Wisconsin next time we talk to you.
Cheers, everybody. Go Hoosiers. The Tap.
Cheers it up. Yeah, the Tap. And the basketball team's pretty good, huh? All right, see you later.
See ya.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.